Let's change the way our bloodlines have operated for the last couple generations, folks. Your mind is like a bank. What you deposit is what you can withdraw. Warren Buffett. This is your host, KG. Welcome back to Guevara Digital Assets. Let's get it. All right, folks. So, for those of you who've been around for a while, you know that America hasn't always been the most friendliest towards the digital asset space. You know that. I know that. We all know that. But, folks, what's happened within the last 24 hours is nothing short of magical. Trump to sign executive order punishing financial institutions for debanking. Who were they debanking, my friends? They were debanking anybody that was engaged in digital assets. Interesting. Debanking has been a key concern among some political groups who argue that businesses such as gun manufacturers and fossil fuel companies have been denied banking services for ideological reasons. A group of powerful bank associations is attempting to block various crypto companies, including Ripple, from obtaining banking licenses. According to a letter to the Office of the Control of the Currency, the OCC, dated July 17th, I should say the 17th of July, the American Banking Association, of course it is, Consumer Bankers Association, National Bankers Association, America's Credit Unions, and independent community bankers. How independent are you if you're worried about what Ripple's doing? Why aren't you letting Ripple be independent, huh? Are you afraid of low competition? Is that what it is? Because the only company I see named up here is named, including Ripple. There might be other companies, but you guys know what you're doing. You're grouping a few of them so you can stop Ripple. Pathetic. In their letter, the association argue. Oh, hold on. Whoa, catch. According to a letter, according to a letter to the Office of the Control of the Currency, dated July 17th, the American Banking Association, Consumer Bank Association, National Bankers Association, Credit Unions, America's Credit Unions, and Independent Community Bankers, independent, sure, of America, seek to block banking applications from four digital asset providers, including Ripple and Fidelity. All right, folks, what you need to understand is that there are partnerships being built, and there's like a team Bitcoin that they pioneer Bitcoin stuff. They're like Bitcoin bulls. And then there's like the Ethereum crew, the Ethereum alliances, Joe Lubins, all of those guys. Um, Mike Novogratz, Galaxy Digital, they are all Ethereum guys. Um, you know. And then you got the whole XRP crew, the people that know, they're just in the know. Yeah, there's different factions in a sense, and they're all competing for financial global dominance of the future payment rails that the world is going to be made to transact within. They're all fighting for that power. They want to They want to scare you out of your money. But Trump, folks, Trump is trying to change that. Look at that. Trump to overhaul 401ks with new executive order. It's so sad that everything has to be an executive order to get done to move this country forward. Because aside from like executive orders, like in our Congress, everybody's so focused on like procedure versus the results. They can't even get to the results because they get so stuck on trying to fit the confines of procedure that they're missing the whole train. There is no reason why Americans living in America should not be more into XRP and other digital assets that are going to take off, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like HBAR, like Chainlink, like a lot of other different things. This is not financial or investment advice, folks. Do your own research. I am not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment and learning purposes only. You should be learning about these things. It's kind of like if somebody told you, hey, listen, if you were to move to California back in the days, and if you were to like go with a pickaxe, like you can find gold. Somebody heard that, they'd be like, yeah, I'm going over there, man. Hey man, can I hitch a ride? Poof, they go together, they hit it together. You know what I mean? But nowadays, people are like not helping each other do better. Like, what's this thing where people are trying to purposely like gatekeep the information that can keep Americans united, folks? We're not united right now, but we can be. You know how that happens? Going through experiences together. Together is the key thing, folks. If we experience things together, if we experience things together, my goodness, we can accomplish everything, but we got to love each other. We got to respect each other, but we got to work together, folks. Look at that. Crypto, real estate, and private equities. Oh, set for retirement portfolios. Son, look at what they. That's crazy. Let's read on. Just months into his second term, President Donald Trump is already reshaping the financial playbook because it's not hard, folks. Urgh. In a bold move that can open up billions in new capital. No, folks, don't let them fool you. If they say billions, they at minimum they mean hundreds of billions because the real number is trillions with an S at the end. My goodness. They are understating this because it's going to be so big. The real number is quadrillions of dollars. Most of you don't even know how much that is, but let me just show it to you like this. 1 quadrillion divided by 1 trillion.
The answer is 1,000.
So there's 1,000 1 trillions and a quadrillion. There's 1,000 of them. Think of it kind of like in memory stuff, like gigs. You know what I mean? There's 1,000 gigs and a terabyte, right? Let me see. How many gigs are there in 1 terabyte?
1 terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes.
You see what I mean? It's all very similar. Right now, we're basically at 3.9 gigs out of 1,000 gigs, which is $250,000,000. That's what the metric should really be. In my opinion, either Bitcoin or XRP or Ethereum, and realistically, Hedera Hashgraph, HBAR, they can technically do this too, and technically XDC can also technically do this. Um, but or Quant. Quant is definitely capable of doing this, folks. Again, do your own research. If you don't know what these are, who they are, all of this, you should do your research. But in my opinion, because it'll be either XRP or Quant or HBAR, maybe Bitcoin. Lesser maybe Ethereum. And if Ethereum can do it, it'll definitely be XDC because XDC is like a hybrid version of Ethereum. It's like the smartest version of Ethereum, akin to XRP being the smartest version of Bitcoin. Damn, that was good. That's exactly how it goes. And HBAR is just a much superior version of Ethereum in ways that Ethereum could just never ever comprehend. If I were Ethereum, which I don't know if I would do it if I were HBAR, but if I were Ethereum, I would try to get a partnership with HBAR. Hidebra Hashgraph is doing amazing things that I wish more people understood. Nevertheless, folks, nevertheless. So Bitcoin's $2.3 trillion market cap. So out of those 3 point, oh, let me see how much I said. Remember, so out of the 3.9 gigs out of 1,000 to get to a quadrillion in market in total market, remember? 3.9 gigs out of that Bitcoin, folks, is 2.3 gigs. You think that's big? That's because it is. That's 58.8% of it. And then Ethereum, the second most valuable one, is 12%. The problem is that out of that, they don't exactly say how much is XRP. And I know there's ways to find that information. Actually, let me see if I can find that information here. So look at that. Trending coins number one is XRP, folks. You heard. XLM is number two. Look at that. Oh, up 8.9%, almost 9%. But look at XLM, up 11.18%. Ethereum, 3.49%. And then Bitcoin trending up 0.17%. And Chainlink at a staggering 9.85. Wow. That's impressive. Full disclosure, folks, I like XRP the most out of digital assets. I do. All right, so tokenomics here. This is a comparison. So the problem is that big, not the problem, but that's, I mean, some people see it as a problem, some people see it as a benefit. But Bitcoin has a max supply of 21 million, and of that 19.9 million is like in existence, circulating. All right, and then XRP looks a little different here. XRP has a max supply of 100 billion, but circulating they have 59.3 billion. All right. So basically, they have 59 gigs. No, they have 590 gigs out of the 1,000 gigs possible as far as circulation goes, just to keep it on the same ideology. They are 590 out of 1,000, or akin to 590 billion out of 100 billion. We should just keep it like that. That's the way it should be. So XRP is 59.3 billion out of 100 billion. That's 59% the way there. The market cap, folks, is where's the market cap? Oh, big one. The market cap is look at that, $198 billion. Oof, that's beautiful. But Bitcoin, folks, Bitcoin is $2.3 trillion. And I know, for those of you who just obviously it's Bitcoin. Have a seat, folks. There's a lot of attention being drawn towards XRP as well. I would say just as much, if not more. Because imagine, so there's $12.5 trillion in retirement. $12.5 trillion in retirement funds can soon tap into crypto. Not just crypto, though, they do show here's cryptocurrencies, private equity, real estate, and other alternative asset classes. Like, what are those asset classes you speak of? That's because those are NFTs and all those other things that haven't even been created yet. Now, like, imagine trying to think of all the things we're doing now on the internet back then in like 1999 during the dot-com like bubble era, where Jeff Bezos' Amazon was like into selling books. Look at all the stuff Amazon sells now. And they started off with like, I don't know if it was just books or like rare books, but there were books nevertheless. And now, while you can buy books on Amazon, most people shop on Amazon and it's not even books they're buying. Folks, you got to be able to see where the puck is going. and not just where it's been. Look at this. America's $12.5 trillion 401k market for a wide array of alternative assets. Oof. According to a Bloomberg report, the order, set to be signed on Thursday, August 7th, would unlock access to America's $12.5 trillion 401k market for a wide array of alternative assets. The directive instructs the Labor Department to reevaluate Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1947 ERISA guidelines and coordinate with the Securities and Exchange Commission and Treasuries to create a clear, compliant framework for these new investment options. If finalized, it could pave the way for retirement portfolios to expand beyond just stocks and bonds, allowing, no, they should have said, finally allowing exposure to cryptocurrencies, private equity, real estate, and other alternative assets. However, the move will force regulators to respond quickly. The SEC will need to address how to classify and monitor these allegedly riskier, less liquid assets. So let me stop you there, folks. As far as riskier, there are some assets that are riskier, folks. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, there are. There have been many pumps and dumps, many rug pulls, and all that stuff. But I will tell you, folks, there are some digital assets, folks, that by all means are not in that same category. I would not put Bitcoin in that category. I would not put Ethereum in that category. Although many things that have been built on Ethereum have been rug pulls. This is XRP, which is not by any means a BS coin. Although there has been some rug pulls on, I would call them rug pulls. You know what I mean? I can show you some in another video, but whatever. But what I'm trying to tell you is look at their market cap. 2.3 trillion, 482 billion, 198 billion. This is Tether. Oof. The digital dollar, the most successful stable coin in existence. $164 billion is their market cap, folks. But pay attention to this. Look at the trading volume within the last 24 hours. For Bitcoin, folks, $34 billion. For Ethereum, folks, 32.7 billion, which is closer to 33, which Bitcoin just passed 33 and just crossed into 34, but still $34 billion, that is, in the last 24 hours. XRP 8.8 billion, not bad by any standards, just, you know what I mean? 8, 16, 24, 32. That's 25% basically of what they're working with. But XRP is going to kick ass. Excuse my French. But also look at this. XRP is also up more than they are. So just want to show you, it doesn't take as much volume, folks, to create more return on your investments. Just want to point that out. But look at this. This is Tether, folks, right here. Tether, $85 billion transacted within the last 24 hours. Good God. I like to press this, tap this, and then it sorts them by what you selected. I like volume. Tether's number one at 85 billion. Bitcoin's number two, transaction volume at 34 billion. Ethereum number two at 32 billion. Look at USDC, folks. $8.9 billion transacted in. Not bad. That's solid. XRP is at 8.8 billion. Solana, 6.2 billion. First Digital USD, 2.5 billion. Dogecoin, not bad, 2.4 billion. And again, this is trading volume, folks, for the last 24 hours. And then there's the Binance Bridge USDT on the BNB Smart Chain, $2.3 billion. And then you guys can see the rest, you know. Stellar Lumen, just over a billion. So you guys can already see, folks, there's different ways you guys can be measuring how to find value in some of these digital assets. But you must do the research, folks. You must be able to show yourselves and tell yourselves exactly what you need to hear and what you want to hear to keep yourself focused, to go from getting this to getting that to that. Sometimes it bumps back down to this. But then look what's possible in the digital asset space, folks. Look at what's possible. Folks, just want to quickly, yep, look at that. Oof, oof, oof. Look at that. And then this is what you guys should be looking at. It's not just regulation in America. Look at what's here. Indonesia exploring a national Bitcoin reserve, says local groups. Like, that's amazing, folks. You know, Bitcoin is now bigger than Amazon, top 5 assets. Amazing. Let me just refresh this. Look at that, $116,824. That's what Bitcoin is. If you bought Bitcoin a year ago with $500, that would be worth over $1,000. And then all time, oof. Then look at that. If you bought Bitcoin, $500 worth of Bitcoin 3 years ago, that would now be at, look at that, a staggering $2,531. The last 3 years, folks, Bitcoin is up over 100% year on year on average. Look at that. That's amazing. It's about 133%. Actually, it's 132% to be exact. But look at all time, folks. 100,000 million. Bitcoin, folks, all time is up over 11 million percent. If you'd purchased $500 worth of Bitcoin in the beginning, look, this is 100,000 million. That would be $58 million, $412,500, folks. Oh, look at that. They gave you your $500 back. That's impressive. This is why some people prefer Bitcoin over XRP and over Chainlink and over Stellar Lumens and definitely over Hedera Hashgraph. It's because Bitcoin is a digital currency designed for the future. What they really mean by that, allegedly, no controls from central banks, strong potential for high returns. As you can see, that's definitely high returns. Secure transactions. Your all-in-one Bitcoin platform. Folks, Bitcoin is more than just an asset. Bitcoin is also an accounting mechanism, and Bitcoin is also it's a money system, it's an accounting mechanism, and it's a store of value. You can transact in it or store in it, and it's still gonna make money. Not financial or investment advice. Spend anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Withdraw cash from ATMs worldwide. Top up your crypto. From crypto to cash in a flash. Ooh. Yep, MasterCard, baby. You can get MasterCards. You can top up with crypto. This should have been XRP. I don't even know why they put that there, but you can do that with BCH too. That's Bitcoin Cash. That was a fork of Bitcoin. But folks, again, you should be doing your own research because XRP is thought of to be doing very magical things, something like that also. But let's look at XRP. 24 hours. This is the 7 days, 1 week. This is in 1 month, XRP is up 41.6%. 3 months, 39%. Look at 1 year, 442%, folks. This was what makes me think that XRP is on a similar path. Look at Max. That's 56,994%, folks, all time high. Give it up for XRP, folks. And definitely give it up for Bitcoin, folks. Look at the all-time high on that bad boy. They say 86,000. That just depends on when they started recording transactions and like prices, because Bitcoin once upon a time was less than a penny, believe it or not. But that was way back in the day. And just because you can't disrespect Ethereum in any way, shape, and form, this is Ethereum. Ethereum is 24 hours up 4%, 7 days over 10%, and 1 month 49.9%, and 3 months 64%, 1 year 48.8%, folks. I hope you're having a seat. I hope you're having a seat, folks. Max, look at this. Look at this, folks. You guys ready? You guys ready? Look at this, Max. Bam, 141.1,000% return on investment from the time of inception, folks. Wow. I kid you not, though, but Bitcoin is higher, though. But it really is. But wow, just this, that's crazy. Dear viewers, are you looking for a way to support the channel? These are a couple different digital assets that I do accept as donations. The ones that say reference memo, please include them. Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in for yet again another great video, folks. This is KG from Guevara Digital Assets. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comment section, folks, because I'm here for you. Anytime you want, I got you. Oh yeah, folks. Whoa, don't leave yet. I forgot to tell you guys. If you guys want, you guys can donate to me here. You guys can donate some Bitcoin if you want, you know. It doesn't have to be a whole Bitcoin, you know, Satoshis. If you want, though, you know, it's just donation. Or you guys can donate here. Got some Ethereum you can send me. I'll take some Ethereum, folks. Drop it here for Ethereum. Drop it here for H-bar, folks. You can send me some H-bar if you want. Donations, gladly accepted. And folks, if you guys would love to send me some XRP, folks, right here, you can send me some XRP, and I would appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Donations are gladly accepted, folks. Never too humble for that. And folks, I also do accept Stellar Lumens, folks. Please, if you see a reference code, memo code, you do have to enter that correctly, or if not, I won't receive what you're looking to send me as a donation. Folks, this is KG with Guevara Digital Assets. It's been a pleasure being here with you all, folks. Let's change the way our bloodlines have operated for the last couple generations, folks. Let's make the change. Compared to what? This is your host, KG, Guevara Digital Assets. Until next time, folks, please like and subscribe and share. Tell everybody you know about me, because I am here to help you all learn how I think, folks. I'm not here to give you financial or investment advice, folks. I'm here to help you think the way I think. That way you can do the research you need to do so that you can see what's best for you and your whole family, folks. Until next time. A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. Colin Powell.